right. We are back.
We are back.
Oh,
and more importantly, I am back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Jason put something up first. Let me welcome you back to another live edition of Live Feed Reads. I'm Paul Reed Jones with the man to my Johnny Carson, Jason Crawford. Hey!
Yes.
As you can see, I got a bum wing. I had surgery last Thursday, not Thursday, but a week ago Thursday. Tore a little bicep off the bone. Good times, good times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know what the surgery was. But yeah.
It is the Reed Creed, baby. You go big or you go home.
What did you do? Was that the old injury or was that
I don't
like
know.
the old baseball, or did you?
This probably started like when I was 18, and just when I hit 59, my body said, "You know what? You're gonna have to get surgery." And so,
welcome to 50.
Yeah, I got the surgery on Thursday, August 10th. I missed our live feed read the next day, Friday. Kind of sat on the couch Saturday and Sunday. Back to work on Monday, baby.
Nice.
So here we sit. Now, granted, I have to have
Is that a cell phone holder I see?
I can't put on shoes. It's really a pain. I started physical therapy, which I got to be honest, seems like a waste of time. But I won't get into it. I'll do it some more. And, but we'll see.
All right. So is that a cell phone holder I see in your sling?
Do what?
I said, is that a cell phone holder I see in your sling?
Oh, yeah, baby. You know, read. My cell phone is always by my side or it's in my couch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
ring,
the
ring.
new fanny pack.
How can I help you?
Right. That's awesome.
I know. That's pretty cool. Thank you for noticing. Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We all know that Donald Trump has been indicted by multiple grand juries, right?
Okay.
I ain't talking about that. But when I asked a few people here around the office and otherwise, I was like, do you guys even know what a grand jury is and what it's for, what it's used for?
Yeah, what all that means, right?
Yeah, and the consensus was kind of yes, kind of no. So I said, well, I think that would be a good topic for discussion, having nothing to do with politics.
Okay, cool.
Nothing to do with Donald Trump. Just kind of so when people hear things,
educational podcast,
you understand what's going on. And at first, what's interesting is, thank you. When you hear grand jury, right? Grand jury, what do you think? What comes to your mind when you hear grand jury?
I think Supreme Court is what I think of. I'm wrong, I'm sure, but I think of the top court. Right.
No, has nothing to do with it.
Right. Okay.
And literally, jury has nothing to do with it. So it's not grand, and it ain't a jury.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so what is it? So
it's not a jury.
No. And I'm gonna go through it. So basically, it's just a group of people like you and I. The qualifications are. Let's see. I wrote them down here. So I went back here. Now there's some federal qualifications and state of Florida qualifications. Interestingly enough, because there is a federal grand jury and a state grand jury, and they're basically both of them are appointed for one term, usually about 5 to 6 months, and they're used intermittently, meaning they pick anywhere in Florida from like 15 to 21 people. And then at any given time during that 6 months, they can call you. Hey, Jason, I want you to basically show up at the courthouse and we're going to present a case to you. And then you decide whether we should actually bring charges against the individual or not. Okay. And I'm Quentin Tarantino. I'm going to jump around, but basically, the rules in Florida are the same to be on a grand jury as a quote unquote real jury, for lack of a better description. Is you got to be 18 years old. You got to be a citizen of both of the United States. You got to be a resident of Florida, and you have to live in the county. So you and I could be on a grand jury in Hillsborough County.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to talk about this, but there is a statewide grand jury, but that's more for real organized crime and things of that. So, but just for purposes of today, you got to be a citizen, you got to be a resident of Florida, and you got to live in the county. You got to be 18 years old. You cannot be convicted of a felony or honestly, we call them like crimes of deceit, bribery, perjury, things of that nature. So basically, for all intents and purposes, you can't be a bad guy. You can't be a bad guy.
Yeah,
Interestingly enough, though, in the federal system, you have to understand English, be able to write English, be able to read English. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Would it be safe to say that no one in Congress would be allowed to serve on a grand jury then?
Yeah. I didn't go that far, but certainly they're not members of Hillsborough County, and not most of them are Florida.
I was being facetious of taking a stab at the
you can't be a felon. You have to be mentally capable of serving on a jury. And
how do they determine that? Is that like a? Is there like a?
I don't know.
If you've had a diagnosis or something?
I don't have any idea.
Okay. Interesting.
And both in Florida, you got to have a driver's license or an ID card. So when you hear grand jury, it's just regular people. That's all. That's the point of that. Is it's regular people.
So
there's
what
nothing
makes it grand
about it? Like you thought this might be elevated justices or smarter people.
Right.
Yeah. Nope. It's just more. So the grand is more jury. Okay, that's all. And of the 15 to 21 people, in order to charge someone with a crime, which basically is called indict them, 12 people have to say yes.
Okay.
All right.
It has to be unanimous then?
Nope. 12 out of the 15 or 12 out of the 21.
Okay.
All right. And so.
Wow. Interesting. And when do they usually call a grand jury? It's obviously not for everything.
Well, I'm going to talk about Florida. So traditionally, the grand jury is basically used to shield unjust prosecution by the state, meaning it was here to protect you and I from Big Brother, from the state of Florida.
Right. Okay.
And so the state couldn't just charge you. They have to convince 12 out of 15 or 21 people that there's probable cause, meaning there's just enough evidence to charge you with a crime so they can then bring you to a quote-unquote real jury trial.
Got you. So this is like a jury to see if there's even a chargeable offense to have a real jury and court case.
Basically, and the term is just probable cause. Is there enough meat on the bone that this person may have committed a crime that the state can proceed accordingly?
That's interesting. I actually didn't know that.
Right. Well, that's why we're talking
really
about.
Cool.
And in Florida, it's basically for a capital offense. So if you're going to seek the death penalty, the state of Florida is going to seek the death penalty. They have to get a grand jury indictment.
Okay.
And then the other is basically grand jury if you're going to charge, and I hate to say Donald Trump, but if you're going to charge a public official, that's a grand jury.
Okay.
All right. So
that's things like treason or stuff like that fall under this as well?
Basically,
something that's larger?
Say again, I'm sorry.
Did something like treason fall into this as well that's larger or? Okay.
Well, treason is punishable by death, so it would.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
And again, public officials. All right.
Right.
So that's what it's used for.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's see.
Educating an idiot today. That's awesome, Paul.
All right, so
what else are you going to do?
Unlike and we call it the trial jury, because the trial jury is the one that determines innocence or guilt, right? Everyone's aware of that, and in a criminal case, it's beyond a reasonable doubt, right?
Right.
Again, that's not a grand jury. A grand jury is simply, is there again enough meat on the bone? Is there probable cause that the guy or girl might have done it such that the state can try to prove their case? against him.
Okay.
So it's really almost it's not much of a threshold. It's certainly not. You're deciding whether this individual committed the crime and should be penalized accordingly.
Okay.
All right, and it's important. It says because the trial jury determines innocence or guilt.
Right.
So when and people need to keep this in mind because the media is horrible nowadays. We all know it. Just because he or she has been indicted by the grand jury,
right?
You know the thing whether
it's not a given.
Fire, it's a grand jury. They must be guilty. That's not
right. Yeah, because it sounds. Yeah, especially if you don't understand how it works, like you're explaining, it sounds like, oh, he was convicted by a grand jury. And it's like, actually, it just means that there's enough doubt or there's enough information to have meat on the bone to say, yeah, let's have an actual court hearing. Yeah.
Let me continue.
Interesting. Go ahead.
What you probably don't know.
Still innocent until proven guilty in the system.
Yeah, is that in practice, the state attorney gets to call the witnesses, gets to ask the questions he or she wants to ask, and gets to present the evidence he or she wants to present.
Okay. In the actual court case?
The defendant, he's not a defendant yet, the potential defendant doesn't get to participate, doesn't get to ask questions of witnesses, and doesn't get to admit evidence. So this is a one-sided affair where I get to show you whatever I want to show you as the prosecuting attorney, and that's what you base your decision on.
Ooh. Ooh.
As a married man, Jason, and if I were to be your therapist...
Bro, this is why people don't like couples counseling. What do you mean?
No, wait. Wait, Jason. I only want to hear your side of the story.
That's a rigged...
Hey, wait, not Crystals. Not Crystals.
That's rigged. No, I would not go to that counselor. If that was a marriage counselor, I'd be like, no, that's rigged. No, man.
I'm a therapist.
No.
I want to hear Crystal's side of the story, Jason.
I don't care how qualified you are. No.
I don't want to hear anything you have to say.
No.
So anyway, I thought the people out there would want to know that basically the state puts on whatever evidence it wants to try to convince you 12, 15, 21 people to bring an indictment or a charge against the accused.
Wow. Kicking and screaming. No, I would not. Wow.
Okay. Jeez. But anyway,
you put that into an interesting perspective for me, and it just clicked. Wow. Just wow.
Right.
All right.
Let's see. Now, also, the grand jury, they're done, and this is a stink in Georgia, they're done in secret.
Oh.
It's a secret proceeding where only the prosecutor can, not saying the jurors, the grand jury members, the prosecutor, any witness, and the witness can bring a lawyer. That's it. No one else gets to take part in that. The judge can, but they don't. They don't. They don't want any part of it. And so the Supreme Court of the United States has held. Here's why, which makes sense. So I don't really have a beef with that. I just again want people to know it's done. It's theoretically done in secret, right?
Yeah.
Which begs the question. In the Trump, and again, not
why so much media coverage.
Talk about the Trump case, but the document, the indictment. It's not in Florida. It's not supposed to be released, or even until the defendant who's being indicted gets to see it, or sometime thereafter. So certainly, the indictment should not have been put on the internet in that Trump case in Georgia before they even indicted him.
So who signs off on it if the judge doesn't preside?
The judge will sign off on it.
Oh, okay. But he doesn't preside.
They'll sign off on it. Right. They'll go in. It's called a bill, and they'll write out what they think you should be charged with and things of that nature. And the judge say, okay, off you go, and then they'll arrest you or have you turn yourself in, or any number of different things, and you go.
Okay. Got you.
So the reason it's secret is, which is true, fear that witnesses won't come forward if their identity is not protected. I get that. So Fear that the witnesses will not give full and frank testimony. They'll just hold back. You don't want that.
You know what's wild about
wait,
this?
hold on. The risk that the person subject to the inquiry will flee. They're charging me with what? I got to go.
Yeah. See you, nerds.
The danger. Well, here's another one. Probably back in the old. Well, probably now, but I'm an old TV guy. But the fear that the defendant will influence the grand jury voters. I think there's been some TV shows about the fix is in. We got a juror or two, and then this is really important. Protection for the reputation of an individual who is accused but not indicted. Because think about it, well as I do nowadays, there are certain crimes, if you're accused of it, pedophilia, you're done. Yeah. It doesn't matter a year from now that that you're found either not guilty or they decide not to indict you or otherwise.
Nothing matters.
That's a big one. I mean, there was that football player. He was a rookie, and I forget if it was Buffalo, the Giants, or somebody. He was a punter. He was accused of, I believe, like sexual assault or something like that in college. They kicked him out of the league before just being accused, and then either the charges weren't dropped, the person recanted, it was a lie. I'm not sure. So the protection for the reputation of the person being accused, I think that's important as well. So again, don't have a beef with the security or the secrecy. I get it, because nowadays they'll blow up your damn house. Yeah. And so just remember, grand jury just means the prosecutor put on some evidence that don't look good for the accused. The accused has no say in rebutting any of that. It's not grand. They're not special people. It's just 15 to 18 and 12 of them got to decide. And they're just deciding whether there's enough meat on the bone to haul the accused to the courthouse to stand trial, where the verdict must be beyond a reasonable doubt.
Well, I gotta admit, I didn't know how that worked, and it's very interesting to hear you say it that way, especially putting it in the perspective that you did, that we all make relationship jokes about, oh, men this, oh, women that, when you're married or whatever, but I would never want to walk into a counseling office or a therapy session where they were like, we're here one-sided today. We only want to hear what you have to say. Okay, later.
Yeah, I just thought that was off the cuff, but I'm saying that's kind of that's kind of what you're going into. You get you hear one side of the story, and now you get to determine who's right or wrong.
I guess the flip side of that is that if the grand jury looks at it and goes, yeah, there's not enough here, that it really wasn't. Because if it's that one-sided, and you walk away with a no.
Well, and understand this. In my opinion, now this is another reason that I believe that some prosecutors want a grand jury. Let's just say it's a high-profile case, right?
Sure.
Well, they can come back and say, look, and people won't know this unless they hear this podcast, it wasn't me who indicted Mr. or Mrs. Johnson.
It was the people.
It was the grand jury who heard evidence. And so I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
You follow me?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not me. Jeez, well, man. Now it was you. You're the one that fed them. Fed them the evidence, held back whatever evidence that they may have changed their mind.
Jeez, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Hey, I am the great and powerful Oz.
Jason committed this crime on December 1st of 2020. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not going to tell you Jason on December of 2020 was in Europe with the family. He couldn't have done it.
Right. Youch. Dude, so what I think is interesting about this. I mean, we live in a time where information is everywhere, and so is misinformation. I'm very aware of that. Most people don't retain information unless it directly impacts their lives. Like, who really reads their coverage for insurance until they get in a car accident and then they're wondering, am I covered or not? And like, it's pertinent to them personally. Right. I think most people are going to hear about this and think nothing. They're not going to think about it.
Let's not kid each other. Yeah. They're going to think because you were indicted, you're guilty.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. What I mean is I don't think there's anything for them to think.
And again, I'm not talking about the current situation with our president.
Right, yeah.
He has lawyers, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do. But it is simply grand jury, you're indicted, you must be guilty. And just so you'll know, that's not even close to anything about how this works. But let's move on. That's it. Yeah. That's your jury. Cool. What it's worth. Now,
really cool topic, man. I really, and this sometimes law I think is boring, but this is not. That's fascinating to me.
Yeah. We'll get this one. So I was talking and have in the past talked to people, including my kids, about going to the moon and putting a man on the moon. And the consensus seems to be, what a waste of time and money, right?
Right. Okay. You mean like in the 69 when they did it?
No. Let's talk about here now.
Or now. Oh, okay.
They're talking about, basically the United States, Russia, China, and India are all trying to put and I say a man, it could be a woman, whatever, but put an astronaut on the moon.
Can I stop you for a second?
No, let's continue. So a lot of people think that's a waste of money, right? A waste of effort, a waste of time. Why do you think that the powers that be think that it's not a waste of time, money, and resources?
I mean, I have a couple of conspiracy theory issues, kind of like aliens and all that other stuff.
Okay, let's scratch that.
Okay.
Something more simple.
Okay.
What else might there
flex? Be? Just a mad flex over the world.
More simple.
Okay. Justify spending.
More simple or simpler.
Give me the answer, Paul. I'm struggling here with the multiple choice. At least give me multiple choice or something.
Money.
Yeah. Well, that's what
there are resources, valuable resources on the moon.
Oh, that's what
hydrogen, silicon, iron, magnesium, calcium, aluminum, titanium, and on and on and on. So basically, mining.
You want to go mine the moon.
We mine for coal here. We mine for natural gas. We mine for oil. We mine for gold. We mine for diamonds. We mine. They want to mine the Earth. I mean, the moon.
The moon. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Stop. Let me go.
Okay.
So, why is there a race?
Because David Goggins is already there. No, I'm kidding.
I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Is the first man, i.e. country on the moon, going to claim the moon? If China lands on the moon, okay.
Right.
The first one on the moon, we're claiming the moon. America, Russia, India, you can't come on the moon and get all these resources.
Right.
Well, here's the deal. There's a 1967 treaty between Russia, China, USA called the Outer Space Treaty, and it really doesn't address that issue. And guess what?
What?
Do you think that the countries of Russia, China, US, and India are going to give a hoot what these three countries did back in 1967?
No. Not really.
Yeah. So now it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
There is a race to the moon for money.
To destroy it. I mean, to mine it.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm like, well, there you go. Cool. I didn't think of that when I'm listening to, why the heck is there a race to the moon?
Let's take mass and density material out of the moon and hope that doesn't impact orbit, gravitational pulls, or any of that other stuff.
Well, fortunately for me, I just went to law school, and I don't know anything about that crap. But I hear you. If you remove enough of the moon, might it cause it to leave its orbit? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But I got news for you. We damn sure would do it if we could.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know,
regardless.
just that simple.
Water bottles in the ocean? Whatever,
Yeah.
man. Whatever.
Well, wouldn't that be a
the moon?
kicker?
We'll make a new moon. With all the materials we have here that we've mined from the moon, we'll just make a new moon.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, so now you know that a
All
grand
right.
jury,
Yeah.
grand jury is not grand, and it's not a jury, and now you know why there's a race to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now what I'm laughing about, because I have to tell you.
Okay.
Did you see, there's like this little cartoon where like Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro and man, there's a whole bunch of them.
Answer your question.
Elon
No.
Musk.
No.
And they're all going to Mars. All right.
Okay.
So Elon Musk's thing to Mars. And then they land and they're like, I wanted to be the first person on Mars. And the door opens up and the landing comes out and David Goggins comes running by and he's like, stay hard, mother.
Hey,
And he's
yeah,
like, I'm already here.
well,
I'm headed
I
to
don't know.
Jupiter.
I don't know who David Goggins is. So,
Oh my word.
yeah.
It's
Again,
hysterical.
I
Okay.
try. You know, I'm happy because if you watch all that crap, it makes you angry. So I don't even know who he is. But anyway, all right. So
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
shoulder on the mend.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And
weekend-
Ryan's back from vacation.
Ryan's back and Jackie from
Awesome.
their walk tour. Sounds like they had a good time.
Glad to hear
Evidently,
that.
the
He needed a
food-
break.
The food over there must be pretty good because he said the pants that he left here on 2 weeks ago don't fit. So they
Good.
must have some good food over there.
Good. I'm glad he enjoyed himself. That's awesome.
Let's see, and I
He
guess
needed a break,
that's
dude.
it. Let's see here, real quickly.
That guy works hard. You guys all do. You all work hard. So
Yeah,
I'm glad he got that break.
yeah, I agree. Hey,
Are you
hey, wait a
checking-
minute. We're
checking
here
in?
with Leanne Reed from
Hey.
Midtown Manhattan. How's the weather up there today?
In Midtown,
Where you at?
Murray Hill.
Murray Hill?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. Midtown, uptown, downtown,
Side town.
down.
Around town.
We don't know where that is, but she's in Manhattan. How's the weather?
A beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky.
Temperature, please.
70s.
Oh my gosh, 70.
70s?
I'm gonna 79. Yes.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. Look, 80, mostly sunny, and 79. Wow.
Yikes.
It was in the
Yeah.
night, it was like 65.
I see that. Can you imagine? So their summer,
No,
for all
man,
intents
I
and
can't.
purposes, is over.
With my AC out in my house right now, I just
Oh yeah.
it's too
For
hot to
Jason
imagine
Bateman.
anything cool right now.
Jason's AC took a dump on him last night.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
it's
brutal.
sweaty in here. Yeah. Hot box.
Wait, hold on a second. We have an update. You cleaned your room. Wow. What a busy day.
I cleaned the apartment, cleaned the bathroom.
Hey,
it?
let's give a clap.
Are we
Let's
done?
go. A cheer.
All right. Well, Leanne will probably be out drinking soon, so God bless her. All right. Well, TV world, we're going to.
Every Friday they're gonna think it's just, oh, Leanne's gonna start drinking soon.
Well, are they wrong?
No.
I can't hear her, so I don't
Oh,
know.
I said, Leanne says every Friday at 1, people are going to think all I'm going to do is start drinking soon. And I said, well, are they wrong? And she goes,
Well, it is
"Wrong."
Friday.
No.
It is Friday. I mean,
Yeah, Friday. All right. Well, we love you, Leanne, and we'll talk to you later.
I asked my kids, is it beer o'clock yet?
Yeah. All right. Take us out. That's all I have.
All right, man. Well, listen, have a great weekend
Yeah,
for you.
know.
And rest up. If you need anything, call me. And with that,
I
I'll take...
hope you can resolve your air conditioner problems.
Yeah, you and me both.
That's us. I hear you.
You and me.
Oh,
both.
and if you haven't bought the book, shame on you.
Yeah, get that book. It's
Yeah.
there.
Read and
All
read.
right.
It's like having a lawyer in the family.